Snap your fingers and make anyone alive president of the US. Who do you pick? AskReddit. Cliff Hutchinson ESC. Me. Not because I think I am the most capable, but for fun and out of curiosity. Boroboros, 7953. Aragorn, son of Arathorn, curious guy on the net, 2577. My dad. He's genuinely kind, generous, full of good advice and very fair. Edited. Can't wait to show my dad this. Close charge 715. 5134. My old friend Steven from school. He cares a lot about humanity and preserving nature and whatnot. Max Ehrlich. 20,225. I'd rather replace all of Congress, the House of Representatives, and the Supreme Court than have anyone for president. The corruption of lifelong and effectively lifelong appointments are apparent. Soltronus. 11,447. I've got a coworker that's the kindest man I've ever met. Like straight Jesus vibes. I'd pick him. Benbue. 2,699. Pedro. He will make all of your wildest dreams come true. Chocomil. 758. Hypnotoad. Let's get brick-faced. 1060. What is the best smell in the world? AskReddit. Crybaby 1111X. I don't think it really exists anymore. But the booklet that came with music CDs in the 80s and 90s smelled like new music to me. Clemo. 2430. Smell of first rain hitting the soil. Misfit _actual__. 4426. Freshly baked bread. 9183. The smell of my mom's perfume when she hugs me. Delicious Sparklade. 4110. The person you love. Elegant Peach 133, 1919. When you buy a new book. Odd Manufacturer 38, 1463. Pine trees have a nice smell. Photoshop _2023, 503. Fresh cut lumber. X your _sweetest _GFX, 1407. What addiction is the hardest to stop? AskReddit. Mega Grimer. The ones you don't believe are addictions. Helpful Truck 7210, 8026. Heroin. I lost my mom, dad, foster brother, and flatmate to it. Roranora _Nananora, 1264. Probably food addictions BC you have to eat. Note. Thank you for the award. It is my first one ever. Apart _tumbleweed _948. 7645. Smartphone addiction might fly under the radar. But it's pervasive. Practically attached at the hand. It's an endless loop of taps and swipes. Pinging dopamine as we hop from app to notification. It shapes our daily habits more than we care to admit. With a grip that's hard to shake because it's so intertwined with how we work, socialize, and relax. Starry Sky 33, 4055. I was a heavy smoker for 15 years. Quit cold turkey. Never was addicted to porn. I kicked a cocaine habit. Being a high-functioning alcoholic is probably something I'll never be able to beat. Trying to quit drinking hurts me physically and mentally so badly. And it doesn't really affect my life right now. So I justify not putting myself through it. I know I am shortening my life by not quitting. But I still just can't do it. X Caramelly Cutie. 853. Removed. 912. Self-isolation. Once you see how peaceful it is to be alone, building relationships can seem exhausting. 8 Cyclops. 1449. Alcohol would be up there. Not only is it one of the very few where the withdrawal can kill you, but it's the one drug that is so socially acceptable people will pressure you to partake in a lot of social situations. Sunbaraman. 569. NSFW. Reddit. What was your "oh shit, this person is a psychopath" moment when meeting people? AskReddit. OK_sample_1624. My brother. As a kid, he used to enjoy watching animals die. As an adult, there were plenty of moments which reminded me that he was little changed. The scary thing was the complete indifference he would display when you tried to explain why doing stuff like this was wrong. It was like the thing that would normally naturally horrifying people over committing such incidents was just completely lacking in him. XA0. Creative_recover. 475. I was friends with a couple. The wife made up an affair with me to hurt the husband's feelings. The husband showed up in my condo with a gun and was detained by the security guards and later the police. I had no idea about any of it until later when the condo security contacted me. Chris Cow. 3709. Was chatting away with a guy in a pub. Seemed like a normal nice dude. Got on really well. Some point in the conversation he casually mentions he's not long out the jail for torturing a guy. He never said torturing, he said what it was he did to him. He slipped it into the conversation so casually as if he was telling me about running to the shop for a pint of milk. Never saw it coming. Asked around another day and confirmed he wasn't full of shit. XA 0 inches. Cheetah nervous 7704. 1637. I. 20F. Was dating this dude. 23M. For a few months and we were getting on really well. Then we both ended up having to move for our jobs at around the same time. He wants to try long distance, so we do. We call most days and watch movies together in our off time. The time zones mess it up a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. Out of the blue one day he just says he doesn't want to be together. I'm like, wow, okay. A little blindsided, but sure. So I start just going about normal life again. And hanging out with friends. The normal post-relationship stuff. After about a month, he begs. Like absolutely begs to get back together. Movie type stuff. Sending flowers to me at work. Sending handwritten cards almost daily across thousands of miles. And even bought me a ticket to fly out to see him. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll go and see what he has to say. Worst case scenario, I just fly home. So I got a ticket for 2 days after because I just figured I could head out if he was being a dick. He picks me up from the airport and is basically how he used to be. Just telling me he missed me and he regretted it as soon as it happened and it was the biggest mistake of his life. The usual. So we stay with his family because he's like, oh please don't get a hotel. I already feel bad enough about the whole month. Just stay with us. And I just thought, hey, free room I guess. Everything is completely fine for the first few days and then I get this alert on my phone. And it's a hurricane warning and saying they're pushing my flight for 4 days later. I'm like, crap. I need to get back to work. I only took like 3 days. When he gets back to the house from work, I tell him about it and he's like, oh, I know. We already started boarding up the windows. I was a little freaked out, but not too much because I guess that's normal for big hurricanes. So the next morning, he shakes me and wakes me up and tells me to come to the living room. I was like, okay. When I do, it's him, his 2 brothers, his sister, his mom, and his dad. People I have only met on this one instance. And he has a binder. They sit me down and each of them reads a passage from the binder of why we shouldn't be together. And why I need to move on. And he breaks up with me. In his parents' house. In front of his siblings. In the middle of a hurricane power outage. Then, because of the hurricane, I was stuck there for 4 more days with these freaks. Probably not the most psychopath person I've met, but this story is still just so strange to me. I had to post it. Exciting notice 8170. 2436. At a party in high school or just after it. We were doing late-night juvenile things like Truth or Dare. I knew most people there pretty well except the new boyfriend of my friend's sister. I'm not entirely certain how it came up, but he admitted to the entire group that he had sexually assaulted a dog. We were drunk and high, but everyone sobered up with that. We were too young to know what to do with that information, but we all just shut up and quickly left the party. She broke up with him not long after. I can't imagine doing something that awful to a helpless animal, but admitting it to a group of strangers seemed downright sociopathic. I was glad to never see his face again. Shimmer Sonora. 655. I went on a date once and she casually dropped how she killed her brother's hamster with perfume as a kid. BC she was mad at him like it was just a quirky lil story to laugh about. Needless to say, I started looking for an exit strategy at that point. Scrumbob. 200. I met the new boyfriend of an acquaintance, and within 10 minutes of the conversation he was referring to women as holes. It was amazing how I suddenly remembered that my husband had requested I come help him with something. Avocado toast. 93. 1259. When he just casually mentioned putting a cat in a cage and then putting the cage in water so he could watch it drown, like it was no big deal and like it was something everyone has done at least once. Rail-a-trash. 83. 591. 91.